Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Beth, and I recently finished reading Room with a View by Forster. Now, this is about 250 pages long, and it was published in 1908. There is a film depicted on my book that came out in 1985 starring Helena Bonham Carter. Full disclaimer, I saw the movie way before I've read the book, and I do love the movie. I will say this, and I think that actually the film is a better medium for this book, just because, and as you can see how small these pages are, and there's not a lot of them, Forster wrote a lot of travel literature. He's most well known for A Passage to India. And I think that, there are obviously travel parts of this book because the main characters, Lucy and George, they do meet up in Florence, Italy, and that's where, the huge part of the romance progresses before she goes back to England in Windy Corner. I think that he wanted to try his hand at romance, and he's writing from a, female protagonist perspective, and she's the main character. And I think maybe it's because he was an older man, maybe it's because, it's a different time period, but the book just doesn't read quite right. Everybody's motivations is just slightly off-kiltered and not explained. And while I get the gist of the social minutia of the time period, it doesn't feel organic. For instance, when you're reading Jane Austen, everything feels explained, organic. You can understand the characters and why they're acting a certain way, and it feels like a whole person. This book, none of the characters exactly feel whole. You can kind of understand their motivations, but when they act upon things that should be human, it's not to the fullest. For instance, there is an engagement that is broken off in this book, and the person is a complete cad, and yet he takes the engagement, being broken off way too well. He's like, oh, I, never thought of that way. Now I can be a better person because of you. Thank you so much. Kind of wish you told me sooner. And I'm thinking, why are you so happy that this person that you wanted to own, like your own piece of art, your sculpture, your property, you wanted to own her, and you took it this well? When, you're a snob about everything and you disrespect people to their face, and you like to play games with people's emotions and things that they feel sacred about. How are you going to change within the course of a conversation? I don't see it plausible. I don't see how that would break off in any positive manner, just based off of all the traits that we knew about that character going into that interaction. I don't think it's plausible. I mean, I do love his name's Cecil, by the way. I do love how much of a cad he is, and I think honestly it comes out better in the movie. But I will say that there are some great, speeches and interplays right near the end of this book. I think that the beginning, you can kind of understand why, Ian Forster is moving so fast through the plot, but I feel like he's skipping about through the meat of what should be explained. You understand Lucy, our main protagonist. She is supposed to be bogged down by society and what everybody expects of her. And she's supposed to be prim and proper, but really she has this fire inside of her that makes her feel like she's alive. And, you can see that when she's playing music. And everybody says, oh, one day she'll live life as she plays her music. But at the end of the novel, you don't really feel like she does that either, because, and I won't give any spoilers, but there's just no romance and love in this book. You don't really see it. You have her main love interest, who's George, and basically she's just there to save him from feeling the futility of life so that he can enjoy it and not think, oh, if there's no meaning, then why am I doing anything at all? That's basically his mentality, and she's supposed to save him from that. And, I mean, it's a great concept, but the whole book is supposed to be very progressive. You have Mr. Emerson, George's father, who basically tells Lucy, well, in a few years, women will be equal with men. And I'm thinking, that's great. And I love the fact that the book is about her not being a piece of somebody else's property. but in the end, she's not really acting above what she could be. She's still very much entrenched in the time period and what she can be doing, and doesn't go full out live her life. She's still relying on other people, and she's not self-sufficient. She almost becomes self-sufficient at one point, but then turns around at the end and doesn't do so. So I feel that the book wants to be progressive. And I think that maybe it's Ian Forster's fault, because once again, Jane Austen can do this time, well, she did this time period, well, obviously it's 100 years prior, which I would think there's more disconnect between me, a person of today, and somebody over 100 years ago, and you can feel the motivations. I think that is the real plight of this book. And I do enjoy the story, which is the problem, because I kept wanting the book to give me more insight to the movie, because I think that's the point of a book, right? If there is a film already out, you can enjoy the separate mediums. If the book is expanding, it has expanded on what was stolen away from the movie. But in this case, I think the film actually fleshed out the characters more and gave, a little bit more to the social interactions that just feel kind of dead in the book. You don't feel the romance, and you don't feel why a person could be angry or why they're acting a certain way. It just kind of feels stilted. And I think with the film, they were able to, show body language and express different things in the book. They obviously the author could have, but it just is very much, it's so condensed. Look how short this book is, and the size of the pages. So I don't feel like he was able to show everything that he could have with how much a person can convey without their words. So honestly, I'm going to say this book, not a recommendation for me. I would say watch the movie, honestly. It's a great film, and I think you'll get more out of it. And if you want to read something like this, but done better, honestly, check out Jane Austen if you haven't already. My personal favorite is Sense and Sensibility. Thank you for watching, and hope you have a good one.